Hi everyone, welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. My name is Juliana, and today's reading is all about a significant relationship in your life. So this could be any kind of relationship, platonic, romantic, familial, whatever. And we're just going to be getting into a little bit about this relationship, what it brings to your life, who this person could be, and also how you can strengthen this relationship if it's one that you would like to strengthen, and then some messages via quote cards from this person to you. So I have 5 piles here today, and I decided to use my song cards to distinguish each one. So this here is pile 1, and pile 1 is Home by Cavetown. Pile 2 is Darling by Halsey. Pile 3 is St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion by Parr. Pile 4 is Middle Cyclone by Neko. And pile 5 is Extraordinary Machine by Fiona. So if you would like to pick based on the songs, I'll make sure that the songs are listed in the description alongside the timestamps below. And you can feel free to go pick your pile, whether you have a person in mind or you're just interested to see what comes up. And you can always select more than one, as always. And as always, of course, please use your discernment when you are selecting what advice is relevant to you and what information is relevant to you. And before you go, if you're interested, I do have one more thing to say. I just wanted to share with you that when I ended the reading, I ended up with the 2 of Cups on the bottom of the deck, which I just thought was perfect for a reading about relationships. And so my interpretation of the 2 of Cups in the realm of relationships is just that it denotes mutually beneficial relationships, a relationship or partnership that is on an even playing field where both people feel like they're getting something important out of that relationship and both people feel like they are on equal footing. And this is something that we often have to foster by looking both at ourselves and who we are and what we really need, and also looking at the other person and who they're showing up as and who they are and what they really need. And we can always be fostering stronger relationships in our life, no matter what kind of relationship it is. And then I also did want to share this quote card that I got that was also on the bottom of the deck when I finished recording. And so the quote on the back says, "We have to hope that the people who love us and who know us a little bit will in the end have seen us truly. In the end, not much else matters." And this is from the book Autumn by Ali Smith, which is a lovely book, which is in its own way about relationships and in particular about some unconventional relationships. And I love it so much, and so perhaps that quote spoke to you in some way, and I just wanted to share that with you. So with all that said, if you are ready, feel free to select your pile, and I will see you in your reading. Welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. This is Juliana, and today's reading is all about a significant relationship in your life. Could be any kind of relationship, but we're going to get into who this person might be / the current energies around this relationship, and then we'll get into some advice on how to strengthen this relationship if that's something that you would like to do. And then we'll get some messages from this person, whoever they are. So I will admit right off the bat, pile 1, I have restarted your reading a couple times. So some of the tarot cards and quote cards, which I would have pulled on camera, I already did that, but I've had to come back and re-record. So I will say, perhaps for some of you, your relationship that you're focusing on is one where you've had some maybe false starts in the past. If it's like even if it's a friendship, or if it's a romantic or potentially romantic relationship, perhaps there's been some miscommunications and things like that in some way. But other than that, let's get into the energies of this relationship right now and get more information on who this is that's coming through. So we have the song Home by Cavetown. So if you chose this one, you are in the right place. And the lyrics on the back are, "Often I am upset that I cannot fall in love, but I guess this avoids the stress of falling out of it." And the tarot card we have is the Hanged Man in reverse. And we have positivity, and the positivity card says, When you are positive, you keep directing a stream of high vibration energy with your thoughts, words, and actions. This affects others and they help you towards your purpose. The angels are aware of the power of your positivity and they too will support your intentions. You choose your thoughts and attitudes, so focus on loving, abundant, and successful outcomes in every area of your life. Your positivity will make you feel happy, healthy, and fulfilled. And the affirmation is, I am positive and strong. So, interesting things going on here. So, right off the bat, with the song that you chose, Home by Cavetown, this is a song that is kind of about... It's a bit of a melancholy song, to be honest, but there is also a positive vibe to it as well. It's like things aren't so great right now. There's a lot of lyrics about feeling out of place, not really feeling like the singer perhaps knows how to communicate themselves, feeling like they really haven't come into their own yet, and yet also feeling an optimism about one day finding their place, that's possible, that's something that will happen for them, and or finding a way to feel at home in a place where they maybe haven't before. And I will say one thing that might be important is I know that the artist Cavetown is, or at least last I checked, identifies as aromantic and asexual, so that could be something maybe for some people here, this person or you identify in that way, or just that it's a platonic connection for some of you. But for others, I actually do feel that there could be a romantic relationship here, just taking the lyrics in their own context and in the context of this reading, because it could be, for some of you, if there is a romantic relationship here, that this is a person, and perhaps maybe even both of you are people who have avoided romance in the past, and maybe just for a significant period of time after a difficult breakup, or maybe for most of their lives, if not all of their lives. And so there could be something in there about that. And it also could be that this person feels like a loner or has felt out of place and maybe has even avoided friendships in a certain way. So whether this is romantic or platonic, I do feel like there's a sense that this person or you or both of you have maybe felt out of place, have maybe not had as many significant connections in one realm or the other as perhaps other people around you have. And so there's definitely something about that here. And with the Hangman in reverse, I feel that either this person, both of you, or this relationship itself is feeling a little stuck or stagnant right now. And it's not necessarily, it could be that maybe you're not communicating right now, but it's not necessarily that. It could just be that the relationship in some way, either from your perspective or theirs or both, is not moving forward in the way that you would like it to. So I'm definitely feeling, especially with also home, there's a feeling of, again, like someone being perhaps stuck in a certain place or even headspace. There's a bit of, there's some lyrics that revolve around what could be some depression, perhaps that's something that one or both of you has experienced, some mental health issues, or just feeling down about themselves, feeling insecure, not really feeling like you are have found yourself yet, and yet also feeling a sense of home regardless, perhaps home with another person, or perhaps a feeling of there is a home out there for you. And with the positivity card, I do feel like there is an optimism about this relationship. So it's like there's a stuck feeling, but there's also a positivity of this could move forward, this could become something, this could become a really strong friendship, or this could become a really strong romantic relationship, or this could get better, right? Like we can get past whatever is keeping us stuck, and we can become closer and more connected. And perhaps there's also a feeling of being misunderstood by one or both parties, either just by one another, or perhaps in a broader sense, maybe one or both of you has struggled with feeling misunderstood, and that could be causing some disconnect here or some feeling of stagnation as well, because there's definitely a sense of perhaps feeling misunderstood in the song. But yeah, like I said, definitely like it's this interesting almost dichotomy of like stuckness and perhaps not being where you want to be with this person, but also optimism of this can get better, this could be something good. And it's very it's very interesting. So perhaps that does sound like a relationship in your life, and if so, let's keep going and let's get more information. So as I said, I did actually already pull cards, so I'm just going to take them right off the top of the deck and lay them out for you. So we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, and the Devil. And so the Queen of Pentacles and the Devil are both in reverse. I'm going to make sure that these are visible. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I have to cover up these cards a little bit, but so with the Two of Cups in the middle, and it did come out like this in the beginning, the first time I pulled these, the Two of Cups flipped over right away in the middle. And so I put it in the middle, and then I put each of these cards on either side. And so while I wasn't intending for this to be a person A and person B formatted kind of reading, it feels like it could be. So I'm going to talk about each of these cards on either side. And if one resonates more for you and one for the other person, then you can take that. But also it could just be for both of you or just in general for the relationship. So apply it how you will. But with the Two of Cups being in the middle, I definitely feel that there is or has been or has the potential for a really strong, deep, mutual emotional bond. Whether romantic or platonic, or even perhaps in some cases business, because partnership is a big word here, and partnership often makes me think of business, even though it's also, of course, partners in life as well, life partners. And there's also a sense of, like, it could be a marriage, it could just be a family member as well, that you're not just a family member, but you know what I mean. It could be a family member as well that you're looking to be on equal footing with, that you have or want to have a mutually beneficial relationship with. But I am feeling for a lot of people that there's just a lot of really strong love here, and that it is equal. And I do feel that whether these two cards on either side are one person and the other, or they're for both people or for one party in particular in this, whoever you are listening to this, definitely just take any advice that resonates for you as something that you need to focus on for yourself. Of course, if there are things that you know you can do for the other person, do that at your own discretion. But a lot of times we can get a little too focused on trying to make sure the other person in a situation is doing what they need to do, or they're okay, or that, you know, we're trying to help them before we're helping ourselves. And in this case, like, really, I do feel like a need for both or either of you to really to focus on yourselves in some kind of way, which doesn't mean you have to pull back entirely from the relationship if this is currently one that you are you're in contact and you're, you know, together in some way, or you're just in each other's lives. Like, it could be someone that you're just not currently speaking with on regular terms, but especially if it is someone who's in your life, you really want to be focused on yourself, and especially with starting with the Queen of Pentacles in reverse over here. So I feel like whether this is one or both of you, this is a card right now that's speaking to me about needing to focus on your personal sense of safety. Ooh, also I'm getting ringing in my left ear right now, so that could be important for someone. Focusing on your sense of personal safety and security. And this is not just, especially because this is in reverse, it's like within you, feeling safe in your body and feeling safe in your internal experience. And I was feeling something with the root chakra here, or the lower chakras. So if you know anything about those, balancing those helps you feel grounded and safe. And I feel like with this energy, it's like someone here maybe has struggled, maybe in the past, feeling safe within themselves, perhaps with some anxiety and things like that. And so perhaps they are currently focused on or should focus on cultivating a sense of safety that comes from within, right? Because sometimes we can look for our safety in others and in our partnerships, but then as soon as something in a partnership triggers us or doesn't go exactly the way we want it to, we can revert to unsafety again. And while that's totally normal, and that's something that often people, like, we all are working through every single day, and it's not about preventing that at all turns. You don't always know what's going to cause you that, and especially if there's a legitimate reason to feel unsafe, you don't shut that down. Like, you listen to that. But a lot of times, if our lower chakras are unbalanced, or if we just experience a lot of anxiety, however you look at it, that sense of safety is just not readily available no matter what kind of situation we're in. And it can be really easy to trigger that sense of unsafety, whether someone means to or not. So I feel like there is a strong emphasis on cultivating an inner sense of safety. And so whether that's you or this other person, someone here needs to focus on feeling safe within themselves. So if that's you, different ways of doing that, again, like grounding and focusing on the root chakra can really help with that if that's something that you are down with and interested in. Like, there's like chakra meditations and stuff like that, and that's not something that I work with regularly, so there's plenty of people you can find out there who do. I like to use yoga for grounding, and also you can go outside in nature, and that can help ground you, and that can be good for cultivating a sense of safety. But there's so many different ways you can approach that. But also, it's something that you could be aware of, that perhaps one of you is struggling with having a sense of inner safety. And so being aware of that, and perhaps if that is you, vocalizing that if you're comfortable to in this relationship, if that's something that you and this person can work towards together with both of you being aware of that, then that might even be even more helpful if you're both aware of where one of you might have sensitivities. And it's not necessarily about making the other person responsible for that, but it's like, if you have the kind of relationship where you feel like you can talk freely about that kind of thing, bringing it up and saying, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, and this is what I'm working on, and maybe if we work together we can help this along faster. That might be something. Like I said, I feel like there is a deep sense of love here. But of course, if you're feeling a lot of fear, whether it's to do with the other person or not, it can just be really hard to connect. So it could be something that you need to begin with within yourself, and as you go, you'll get more comfortable to open up and share with this other person about that. With the devil in reverse, very similar in that it's like really focusing inward on, specifically, I feel, mental patterns and potentially addictions of some kind that are getting in the way of connection here. So that's like the devil to me is like anything that's keeping you shackled, and in reverse, especially like feeling trapped by that. And there is this hanged man reverse energy here. So I feel that with the devil reversed, if there's any mental patterns that you or this other person are dealing with that are keeping you stuck, that are outdated and old, that are coming to light, it's time to deal with those. And it also could be saying that there are some things that you might not be fully aware of yet, that you're coming into awareness of, that need to be dealt with and will help you connect on a deeper level. And with this, like, it looks like there's kind of like a door going into this devil's like mind, and then it's like stairs going into their body. So it's like how your mental patterns and thoughts are affecting the rest of your system, like your body, your energy, your emotions, all of that is related, and vice versa. Like, your emotions and thoughts feed into each other. And so one or both of you might be dealing with addictive or repetitive patterns and thoughts that have been keeping you stuck and trapped, and that's something that you're working through right now. And there can be a lot of fear involved with that as well. Like I said, both of these could really be about both people, or it could just be about you in general. And like, I do feel like there's this mutual emotional support here that you could be or maybe are both offering each other. And perhaps this is something where if you can have an open conversation about your fears. So like, for example, if you're looking to enter into a romantic relationship with this person and there are mutual feelings here, being honest about your fears and your insecurities and perhaps like any patterns or, like I said, addictions, which doesn't have to be like substances. It could be like anything that you're using to avoid yourself, anything that you can't stop coming back to because it helps you get away from sitting with yourself. That can be like an addiction. And depending on what kind of addictive behavior you're dealing with, you absolutely would, you can get help for that. Like, easier said than done, but obviously like there are things, services, people out there who can help you work through that as well with any of this. But regardless, I lost my train of thought. But what I was getting towards is that it could help if you both communicated openly about this. And that might not be in the cards for you guys quite yet. But I do feel that with this mutual respect and care here, that it might be beneficial. And I do feel like both of you want to be able to be there for each other in that capacity. And maybe you already are, and maybe you already have been, but I know when things are like deeper or when the fears might concern the relationship themselves or perhaps even past difficulties that you both have been through, perhaps misunderstandings that you've both been through, it can be hard to bring that up and talk about that. And so I do feel like an emotionally open and vulnerable conversation would help here, but at the same time, you might have to do some work with yourself before you get to the place where you're ready to do that. Because there's just so much love and potential as well for mutual support here that I think you can tap into. And let me now move into the quote cards that we got. So as I said, I pulled them earlier, but they're really good, so we're keeping them. So we've got this one, and this one. And I noticed right away that these quote cards are in black and white. So I don't know if someone here just really likes the color black, or really likes black and white, or I don't know. But that feels significant because not all of these cards over here are in black and white. And starting with this one here, so it looks kind of like a reverse starburst, almost like an exploding star, but it's black. And the quote on the back says, "A life lived in fear is a life half lived." Oh, and by the way, these are meant to be messages from this person. So we'll take that as we go, but keep that in mind. So this says, "A life lived in fear is a life half lived." So I believe that this person is communicating with you right now that either they are currently in fear or have spent a lot of their life in fear and are speaking from their perspective. So they're saying, take it from me, a life lived in fear is a life half lived. And they're encouraging you to address any of the fears that you have. And if you feel like there are any areas of your life where you're living in fear right now, it's encouraging you to move beyond that, to find a way to address your fears directly. And in the context of this relationship, it will help you have a deeper relationship with this person and perhaps with others in general as well. And I do feel like for this person, whoever they are, they're speaking from the experience of knowing what it's like to live in fear. So perhaps you both are familiar with the experience of anxiety, for example, and things like that. And whether you know it or not, you might have this mutual understanding, even if you have different experiences around it, of what it's like. So I feel like there's this sense here of like, I understand, I know where you're coming from. It's not judgment, but it's saying something in you is fearful right now, and I see that, and I know that because I've been there and perhaps am there as well. And it's like, I think there's a mutual understanding around that, or they want you to know that. And so we then have this spiral here, and the quote is, "If the universe is meaningless, so is the statement that it is so. If this world is a vicious trap, so is its accuser, and the pot is calling the kettle black." So there is a definite sense. Oh, this is by Alan Watts, and it's from The Wisdom of Insecurity, which is a neat little book if you want to check it out. It's quite short, but it's got a lot of wisdom in there. And so to me, this is saying, it's giving a sense of, like, perhaps like with the devil in reverse that's under here, being stuck in a cycle of seeing the world from perhaps a negative perspective. And we did have that positivity card coming here, and so I feel like positivity is perhaps what you guys are moving towards, but perhaps there is some negativity or some negative perspectives that you're having to release and let go of in order to move forward. And so to me, this is referring to a way of seeing the world. Like, if you see the world as a vicious trap, you'll have trouble seeing opportunities for love or positivity or trusting that a relationship can go well, can be, I was almost getting like this feeling of like, say this is a romantic relationship, or I don't know, there's this feeling of not wanting to be stuck, right? Not wanting to be stuck or trapped in a situation. And perhaps both of you feel that and need to communicate that you're both having that experience of fear. And if you can both understand that, there's potential for you to have a relationship where you mutually allow each other freedom and acknowledge each other's desire for freedom in different ways and have an honest and open conversation about that, whether it's romantic or not. But it's like, yeah, it's like this feeling of like releasing the negative thought patterns of being in a relationship, for example, means that I cannot be free, or all relationships end badly, or I'm not cut out for that kind of relationship even though I really want it. That kind of thing. It's like releasing those kinds of patterns that even sometimes after you make the choice to become more positive, still come back up and still create fear, and you still have to work through them and remind yourself again and again that that's not the baseline of reality. That's just an old perception that is still there because our brains are very good pattern creators and pattern seers, and it just takes some time to unravel that at times. So I feel like one or both of you is dealing with that and releasing that, and that can be a really scary time. And like I said, I think that one or both of you is experiencing a lot of fear around this relationship that's not necessarily caused by one another, but caused by perhaps deeper wounds that you've both had in the past, whether in past relationships or connections or in childhood. It could even be in the past of this relationship as well. I'm getting the sense of like two people who in whatever capacity maybe knew each other for a long time, and when they were younger, maybe things about each other triggered one another because of just the different ways that you grew up and the different wounds that you might have had, where you weren't trying to hurt each other, but still both of you maybe had trouble feeling safe with one another because of certain differences. So there could be something about like once you deal with those fears, the relationship comes back around and becomes stronger for having dealt with that, like, or you see each other in a new light. So there could be something with that as well. And we have this card as well, which is very sweet. And I do say, I think for a lot of you, there is very sweet undercurrent underlying this connection, whatever fears you may have. I don't think that this is a connection where you actually have a lot of real severe issues or actual danger or anything like that. Like, this feels like you both do really care about each other. And this says, "Welcome home, welcome back. We missed you. I missed you more than I should have, more than I wanted to. I went to hell for you. I would do it again." And this, okay, I feel like for one or both of you, it's like that feeling of you're facing your fears, or you want to face your fears, or this person wants to face their fears, or you're both facing your fears in order to come together and have a successful or loving or deeper connection and relationship with one another. And And because this is meant to be like a message from this person to you, it's kind of saying that perhaps this person has been through hell in some ways, or is dealing with their fears, and again, like I think it's mutual, maybe you both are, but is dealing with their fears intentionally, wanting to be the best that they can for you, but also for themselves, because that's a necessary part of the process, is learning how to be there for yourself. And I did feel that there was a need to focus on yourself in order to come back around and then be with this person. And this could be like something that they've faced these things in the past and are getting ready to move forward, like ready to move out of the hanged man energy. But it could be for some of you that they're still going through this, or that as you move forward, this will still be part of their journey and maybe part of yours as well. But that they have every intention of facing their fears and of going through the difficult stuff so that they can reconnect with you and have a stronger relationship. And again, this could also just be like, it could be even if this is someone who like maybe you haven't spoken to in a long time, or like an old friend situation, maybe you'll just reconnect with each other and you'll vibe differently than you did, and you'll both learn and find out that you've both been through a lot separately, and that has brought you back together, and now you're closer than you were before. So like could be that kind of situation for some of you, but it's very, I mean, for some of you this feels very romantic in a sense, but no matter what, there's a lot of deep care here. And then the last one we have is, and which comes first, her unbearable mother is saying, what we see or how we see it. And yeah, I think with this card, it's possible that both of you, if you've known each other for a while, have had misunderstandings in the past in your relationship. Perhaps you both have very strong opinions or are stubborn in your perspective. So maybe you're both learning, or one or both of you is learning, that learning how your preconceptions of the world, like we talked about, especially with this vicious trap, your more cynical preconceptions or your more negative preconceptions or fearful preconceptions have influenced how you've seen this person in the past, or how you've interacted with them, or just in general, how you've interacted with life. And you're learning how to turn that around. You're questioning your belief systems that just don't seem to be suiting you anymore. You're questioning the way that you used to think about things, maybe even how you used to think about this person, and vice versa. Like, this is meant to be their message to you, so perhaps they are going through that with you as well. But I do get the sense that this is kind of like two people sort of dealing with similar things, maybe in different ways, or the semantics are different, but the actual energy of the situation itself is the same for both people. So that could be the case. But yeah, it's like realizing how the way that you see the world isn't necessarily objective, and learning how to see it in a new way, and learning how to understand another's perspective perhaps, or switch your perspective to something that's more beneficial to you and who you are right now. So yeah, I believe that's all I've got for you. I guess the last thing is that my eye keeps being drawn towards this card that was on top of the quote deck, which reminds me of the Tower card. So perhaps for some of you there was, or there has been, or there will be some kind of life-changing moment related to this relationship, whether internal or external. And the bottom of the card says, the world changes and all that was once strong now proves unsure. And so I think for a lot of you, perhaps there was this perspective shift related to this relationship that shook you a little bit, and maybe shook the foundations of your world and how you thought it was. Or that something like that, which did shake your perceptions of the world, led you to question yourself in a way that is allowing you to become closer now with this person. So I do feel that for a lot of you, there is this is a really good relationship, and obviously the specifics will vary, but hopefully there's something here that was very helpful for you, and hopefully you enjoyed that. And you can feel free to leave a like or comment or subscribe if you like. And also, if you want to check out the website sunflowerphilosophy.com. We have tarot readings on there, tarot guided sessions, also hypnosis. My mom and I do hypnosis, and she also does human design readings. So if you're curious about any of that, you can check out the description and we'll have a link there. And regardless, I hope you have a wonderful day, and best of luck in whatever relationship that this is about, and hoping that both of you have an amazing life. And I will see you again in a reading sometime soon. Bye. Hi, Pile 2. Welcome to Sunflower Philosophy. This is Juliana, and today's reading is all about a significant relationship in your life. So this could be any kind of relationship, and we're really just going to be looking into about this person, the relationship itself and the energies around it, and then how you can strengthen this relationship if you would like to, and then also just get some messages from them using my quote cards. So to start off, if you chose this song card, which is Darling by Halsey, then this is your pile. You are in the right place. So to get started, we're going to look at each of these cards here, which are meant to represent the person and or the energy of the relationship, and we'll just kind of take that as it comes up, and then we'll get some tarot and other messages. So let's read the lyrics on the back of this card. So it says, "Until it's time to see the light, I'll make my own with you each night. I'll kidnap all the stars and I will keep them in your eyes." And your tarot card, you got the Emperor. And for this angel card here, we have Clarity. So Clarity says, "Angel wisdom reminds you that a busy, cluttered mind is a sick one, and a still, clear mind is a divine one. Allow the wisdom in your heart to radiate out and dissolve the chatter of your mind. Know that your angel has drawn this to your attention and is waiting to help you in your task. Sit quietly so that you can find the stillness within. Then you can shine a pure, clear light onto every area of your life. In the clarity of this light, the angels will reveal a new way of being. You will see things differently and be able to make decisions from strength and clarity." And the affirmation on this card says, "My mind is quiet, still, and clear." All right, so few different things coming through with this relationship right off the bat. So I don't know for sure what kind of relationship this is to you, and only you will be able to discern that. I will say we have the Emperor here, which is a very masculine card, which could just be about the energy of the person. This person doesn't have to be male. It's not about necessarily gender. But the Emperor is also a sort of a representation of like a father archetype. So this could be someone who is a father, is your father, is a parent of some kind, is family in that way. But it also could be someone who's like a counterpart to you. It could be a husband, but it also just could be a partner of any gender. And it's really going to be up to you to take that as you will. With this Emperor card, I will say, well, first of all, the Emperor is related to Aries, and it was coming through that for some of you, maybe Aries is a significant sign for this person. This Emperor also reminds me of the King of Swords, so air signs could be important as well. And regardless of who this is, there's also a very protective feeling coming through. So I feel like this is someone who might be very protective of you, and you could also be very protective of them. So that's why like the parent energy could definitely resonate, but that could be for really any kind of relationship. And especially with the song, Darling, so if you're familiar with it, I believe Halsey did dedicate it to her son. And I could see it as, like I said, that parent-child energy, but it also could just be, in general, that energy of feeling protective over someone, and really caring for them in a gentle way. And in particular, there's a line in there that I didn't write down that is, "Only you have shown me how to love being alive." So it's possible that you and or this person have had that effect on each other, or this person feels that way about you, that you have had some role in helping them feel more connected to possibly their inner child. For some of you, this even could be about a relationship between like your adult self and your child self. So there could be something about an inner child relationship for some of you. So take it as it resonates. And then with clarity here, I do feel that for some of you, this person could be a very clear-minded person, but they could be someone who's actually dealing with clearing their mind now, or that's something that they are working towards. And for some of you, it feels like there's, well, maybe for a lot of you, there's recently they've either had some clarity about this relationship in particular or about you, or some clarity about themselves. And in fact, since this could be the energy of the relationship, maybe both of you have experienced some clarity about this relationship recently, or are looking to bring clarity to an aspect of this relationship. So, yes, but overall, a very sweet energy. I didn't say this in pile 1, but I will say this for you guys, and for all the piles going forward. And if you were in pile 1, this goes for you too, but I definitely recommend listening to these songs if you feel called to, especially if you aren't familiar with them, because you might pick up on some things from the songs themselves that will give you more clarity here. Clarity. And when I read the clarity card earlier as well, if any of that resonated with you, that can be part of your advice. So you might want to take the advice on that card to heart if that feels right for you. But now I want to move on to the tarot and get some more information about how you can strengthen this relationship, whatever it is to you and whoever this is to you. Because there can always be a stronger bond, especially as we grow. And I do have a feeling that no matter who this person is to you, they are a very significant part of your life, and you are very important to each other in some way. Well, I guess that's obvious, or else you wouldn't be here listening to this reading, but let's get some more information about how you can strengthen this relationship. So okay. All right. Well, let's get a couple more here. How can we strengthen this relationship? Okay, and that card fell on the floor. Okay, so we'll keep this here, and we will put this one over here. All right, so let's see if I move that up a bit. Can you see that? Hopefully these cards are not getting cut off this time around. Okay. And bottom of the deck has the Hanged Man. I don't know if that's significant, but I'll leave it over here. So, okay. We have the Princess of Cups, excuse me, which I believe is the Page of Cups in this deck. And we have the Hierophant reversed and the Two of Swords. How can we strengthen this relationship? So, okay. So regardless of who this person is to you, if they are a person separate from you, the inner child is a significant aspect of strengthening this relationship. And I almost feel like if this is a parent-child bond, or whoever this person is for you, they don't have to necessarily be like currently embodied or alive to be coming through. So you can still strengthen your connection to someone who has passed. You can also strengthen your connection with someone who is still in this life if you want to, even if you're not sure if you will connect with them physically again. And it's up to you, every circumstance is different. But in this case, the connection with the inner child is really important with this Page of Cups reverse. And I feel like since this is advice for you, it's getting in touch with your inner child. And perhaps if this is about a parent-child relationship, or so if this is about a parent-child relationship or like a guardianship or someone who is like older than you and takes care of you or has taken care of you, then this is about perhaps getting in touch with your inner child in a way that will help you perhaps recover or heal wounds from childhood that may have involved this person, in the sense that even if you had a loving relationship with your parent or guardian, that doesn't mean that there still aren't like wounds that you have from growing up, from just sometimes when things happen as a child and people react in a certain way in a certain situation, it sticks with us in a way that you might not expect it to. Your parents don't have to have been mistreating you in order for you to have wounds around them. You know what I mean? And this is something where if you've explored this at all within yourself, you'll understand that. But it might help bring you clarity and bring you peace to address that relationship through connecting with your inner child and reparenting yourself in a way in circumstances where, like, maybe there were just times when your parent didn't give you what you needed because maybe there was no way for them to know, because you're your own person and they're their own person, and part of the journey here on earth as we are living is to discover ourselves and is to become who we are, and we don't know that always when we're born, and people around us don't necessarily know that, right? So we can't always give each other what we need because we don't know what that is yet. We learn that through trial and error, right, in life. So there's something in that can help bring this connection closer, strengthen this connection for you. But it can also be that this person, whether they are a parent guardian or just a completely different relationship than that, there's like a strong playful connection here. So perhaps exploring your inner child will help you and this person connect in a more playful way. And to connect, because I feel like you connect to each other through your inner children, right? So you bring out those childlike qualities in each other, the wonder and the love of life. And I think that that connecting with that more in yourself will help you bring that out in the other person more. And also, I think the other person wants you to bring that part of yourself out, the more playful part, the part that is more childlike and full of wonder, and they want to experience that perspective with you. With the Hierophant in reverse as well, there could be something around being non-traditional, and it could be that you have a relationship with this person that isn't traditional, or that part of connecting with your inner child and who you truly are involves being open to less traditional ways of thinking or ways of being. Perhaps growing up, you grew up in a very traditional household, and there's a part of you that really wanted to go outside of that and explore different ways of life and different lifestyles. And so I feel like for some of you there's a push or an encouragement to embrace non-traditional paths in life, perhaps non-traditional relationships, if that's something you feel called to. But for others of you, I feel like it could be a call to return to some traditional roots, to really explore those roots within yourself and your family line and gain a new appreciation or new perspective on them. And those two things can also go hand in hand even if they seem a little opposite. And in fact, when I just said that, I looked over at the Two of Swords here, and these swords are like curved and like kind of connecting with each other. So I feel like it's almost like, it's like two sides of the same coin, even though this is swords, or like two potentially like seemingly different directions and perspectives can come together and form a more complete picture. And perhaps there's something in the relationship between the two of you where the two of you bring that to each other, so you can possibly explore this with each other. And again, everyone's situation will vary, but even if your person is someone who is not necessarily alive anymore, you may have, or you may want to cultivate ways of connecting to them beyond, this time-space reality, and have that connection and and perhaps that can also come into like the non-traditional, or going non-traditional from how you grew up, or exploring traditional roots that maybe involve ancestor work. Yeah, because this could be an ancestor, and this could be someone who like maybe you knew but like passed away, even a grandfather, grandparent, or whatever. But yeah, it's almost like connecting, bringing two potentially different perspectives together will somehow clarify certain, and actually the fact that this Two of Swords is over this clarity card, maybe there has been some clash of perspective in the past where one person might have come from a more traditional background and one person came from a less traditional background, or has a more traditional perspective and the other person has a less traditional perspective, and it's kind of like those two perspectives coming together and finding a way to connect, right? And so it's almost like if you are to explore and be open to the other person's perspective and experience more, then the other person will do the same, and you'll both find your way back to connecting with each other on a deeper level, if that makes sense. Because there's a lot here about going back to childhood, going back to your roots, going back to experiences that you had growing up, and it may be exploring different perspectives or exploring each other's different perspectives. And now I'm going to get some messages from this person, which can also help to bring a little bit more light to this. But I will say overall, like, the song Darling is a really sweet song. I do feel that there is or has been or is potential for a very loving and very sweet relationship. And like there is this sense of one party or both parties bringing the other more in touch with their child self, their childhood, their wonder at life, helping them feel alive. Okay. That's 2 on the floor, and then we'll see if we can get one more. Okay. If you hear any like rumbling, okay, that's 2 more. You know what? We'll take it. If you hear any rumbling in the background, I'm sorry. It's the Roomba getting into trouble upstairs. Okay. Okay, so this is the first one we had. So this one says, but the problem with being weird was that everyone else was normal. And this is by Maggie Stiefvater from The Raven Boys, which is a book. And we have, all we are is eyes, looking for the unbroken or the edges where the broken bits might fit each other. Ooh, I'm going to put this right over that Two of Swords. And then we have this one, which says, life requires no future to complete itself, nor explanation to justify itself. In this moment, it is finished. So this is from The Wisdom of Insecurity by Alan Watts. Oh, and this one over here was by Allie Smith. It's from How to Be Both. Oh, wow, you guys got a lot, actually. It's fine. So we have this one, which says, you can't say this is just a stage when it's important to people, what they're feeling. You can't say this is just a stage when it's important to people what they're feeling. Maybe he'll outgrow it someday, but right now it's important. Okay. Big pattern forming here. And then we have this one. Bring in the people, father for comfort, mother for cuddling, and good friends to laugh the sickness away. Ooh, okay. Yeah, really strong parent-child or like guardian-child vibes here. And then we have this one. And it says, it's better to be embarrassed than dead. Okay. All right. So I don't know if all of these can fit. We're going to put these over here and we'll get to them. Okay. So, but the problem with being weird was that everyone else was normal. So yeah, there's something here about like someone not fitting in, possibly growing up and feeling weird and feeling like everyone around them is normal or traditional or whatever, and they just don't feel like they are part of that. And with all we are is eyes, looking for the unbroken or the edges where the broken bits might fit each other, I feel like maybe these two people, like you and this other person, might have had a struggle seeing eye to eye. And if it is a parent-child relationship, it could be like the child is outside of the norms that the parent is used to, and there's just a misunderstanding between them. And like maybe a lot of love, but just maybe not a way to connect. And so I think you've both been looking for ways to connect and ways to understand each other better. And it's also possible that this person has felt this way and that they have actually found that interacting with you has reconnected them with the part of them that maybe abandoned their weird self, their child self, the part of them that is different and that wanted to be different. And even if that's a parent-child relationships, perhaps like they have learned through you, if you are their child, or vice versa, that they want to connect with the part of them that they see in you that they maybe rejected when they were younger, or was rejected when they were younger. Life requires no future to complete itself, nor explanation to justify itself. In this moment, it is finished. So yeah, this is really like saying like, there's nothing that you need to justify about yourself. You don't need to justify yourself. And it could be like, if this is a relationship that, like, say they've passed and it was contentious when they were alive, that their perspective now is a much higher one, like one that is unconditionally loving and can say these things to you that maybe they couldn't say when they were living. It also could be that, like, for some people, this is this person's higher self, especially if this is a relationship where you're not really sure if it can get better in this lifetime. There's still connection to be found here in understanding this part of them. But you'll know if it resonates, obviously. And if there has been some misunderstandings here, and if there has been rejection here, especially if it's like a parent-child relationship, that can run very deep. So it might not be an easy thing that either of you have to do, you know? For some, there might be higher walls than others to climb, and it's the kind of thing that you don't rush and you don't have to force, right? You'll know if it's time for you to look to mend any wounds that have been here, if it's time, and it really just depends on each individual situation, of course. This last one is, actually there's two more, but you can't say this is just a stage when it's important to people what they're feeling. Maybe he'll outgrow it someday, but right now it's important. So this person is saying and acknowledging that who you are right now, or who you've been in past stages, are all valid and important, and things that are important to you, even if other people don't understand them, even if this person hasn't understood them in the past, that doesn't mean that they were wrong, right? That doesn't mean that anything was wrong with you. There's a lot of love here, whether it's coming from the higher realms or whether it's coming from them in their current physical life. And it's saying, like, yeah, if you felt like things that you were interested in or were part of you that other people didn't understand were invalid in some way, no, that's wrong. And this person wants you to know that on some level, in some realm of reality, they do understand that. Maybe they understand it now. Maybe they're working to understanding it. Maybe you need to justify it in yourself and understand it in yourself before you can even ask someone else to see you in this light. But regardless, that's not necessarily your responsibility. Your responsibility is to yourself and to validate yourself. If this is someone with whom you have a connection where you feel like you do bring this out in each other, like this childlike quality, and like you find a home with each other, then I think this is saying that maybe both of you have experienced sort of rejections or things where you haven't been understood, and this person is saying, like, you understand me and I understand you, and they're acknowledging that, and they want that to be known, and they want that to be known that even if there's differences with you guys on the surface, like maybe you seemingly came from different backgrounds, that you have connection through that, and that they want to acknowledge that and explore that deeper, that they want to say, like, we might seem different, but I know that we're the same, and I want to acknowledge that to you. But then we have bring in the people, father for comfort, mother for cuddling, and good friends to laugh the sickness away, which is from Fairest by Gail Carson Levine. And yeah, so this is where, like, there could be there's a significance in like the family home, parental bonds, no matter what kind of relationship this is. And it's kind of like, I think that in this relationship that they either want to bring this comfort to you, or they want to encourage you to find this comfort within yourself that maybe you didn't get growing up. But there is something here, about like comfort, about like close family relationships. It could even just be acknowledging the relationship that they currently have with you, feeling comforted by it, and wanting to know that like no matter what you're going through in your life, maybe someone here has dealt with sickness or is in the process of going through it, and it's like you bring them comfort, or they want to bring you comfort in some way. And then we have, it's better to be embarrassed than dead. And this goes back to, I think, the energy of wanting to step outside the bounds of what is traditional, wanting to be able to be weird, where other people can see it and not feel embarrassed, or at least be able to embrace that. And it's better to be embarrassed than dead is like, sometimes suppressing yourself can feel like dying, or just not being like it's only you who have shown me how to love being alive. Like, little children aren't self-conscious about themselves the way that adults tend to be. And so again, there's that connection back to that childlike self that isn't insecure and that is shameless, and that really just goes out and is themselves and loves life and feels alive. And so there's something here that they want to bring this to you, but also that maybe you have taught them this, is that it's better to be embarrassed than dead. It's better to be put yourself out there and potentially have people laugh at you or like feel embarrassed than it is to be dead inside and just like not have any fun in life and not enjoy living and not feel like you're living. And I feel like they're saying like this is something that you have brought to them. And just to acknowledge, because I haven't yet, the Hanged Woman, which is the Hanged Man, and I don't know what's going on upstairs. I hope you didn't hear that, but if you did, oh well. The Hanged Woman, which is the Hanged Man in like a traditional tarot deck, which could be significant to like if you also were in pile 1, maybe there's something relevant to that as well. But I just wanted to acknowledge that perhaps that means that maybe this relationship has been paused or hasn't moved forward yet, or has had some shifts in perspective lately. And I feel like that speaks to some of what was already said here as well. But yeah, this was a very interesting energy, very lovely. And I hope no matter what your situation is, whether it's been this outwardly loving, or it's moving in that direction, or it's something that's in the past, or it's something that maybe you won't get this kind of acknowledgement in the material world, but has brought you some kind of closure with yourself. I hope that this has helped you in some way, and I hope you enjoyed this. And that's all I have for you. So if you'd like, you can like, comment, or subscribe. And also, if you want to check out sunflowerphilosophy.com, my mom and I do one-on-one tarot guidance sessions. We do recorded tarot sessions, hypnosis, and my mom does human design readings. So if you want to check any of that out, the link is in the description. And aside from that, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in another tarot reading soon. Bye! Hi Pile 3, welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. My name is Juliana, and today's reading is all about a significant relationship in your life, and it can be any kind of relationship. We're just going to let the cards reveal themselves, and you can use your discernment to decide who this is about and what relationship this is about. And the idea here is that we're going to get some information about this relationship and what energy it's in, and possibly information about the person that this is about. But we'll also get some information about how you can strengthen this relationship if that's something that you would like to do. And also some messages from this person with my quote cards that I made. So to get started, if you chose the song St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion by John Parr, then you're in the right place. And to get started, we're going to look at these cards, and actually group 3, pile 3. Yes, we're pile 3. You guys want to get me in trouble with the other piles because you're the only group that got both 2 song cards and 2 tarot cards. So I don't know, but we just needed some extra information in this group, I guess. But to start, we have the song St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion, which for some of you, maybe the movie is significant. I'll admit that I've never seen the movie, but take that as it resonates. And the lyrics that I have are, I can see a new horizon underneath the blazing sky. I'll be where the eagle's flying higher and higher. Gonna be your man in motion. All I need's this pair of wheels. Take me where my future's lying. St. Elmo's Fire. And then we have the song Wonderful Life as well, which, surprise, also came out. And that is by Alter Bridge. And I have the lyrics, and all that I am, you let me be. I will remember you for all that you've done and given to me. Love will remain, this I concede, now and forevermore. Because of you, now I believe, now I believe. What a wonderful life, for as long as you've been at my side. Wow. It's got some interesting stuff going on in this pile, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, they've all been interesting, but... Alright. So then, like I said, you've got 2 tarot cards. I don't know where I'm gonna put all these freaking cards, guys. I'm an interesting energy for your group. All right. So we have the Ace of Swords. And, sorry, I'm going to cover up your lyrics a little bit, but I want to fit everything in. And we have the Moon. So, we also have an angel card here, which says laughter. And I'll read that as well. It says, laughter is a wonderful healer. It shakes out fear and leaves you feeling happier, clearer, and more relaxed. Remember that angels fly because they take themselves lightly, so make light of difficulties and see the funny side of situations. Laugh at yourself and with others. When you relax and laugh, your angels drop in new suggestions and ideas which can transform difficulty into delight. Laughter is the sunshine which dissolves darkness, so be merry, joyous, and fun-filled. And the affirmation on this card is, I see the humor in everything. So, I don't want to cover up your lyrics, but I'll put laughter over here. Okay. So, what we just read on that card, you can take that as advice for yourself as well if that resonates with you, even before we get into this person in this relationship. So just take note of that. If that spoke to you, take it for yourself. Now, getting into this. Well, first of all, the fact that 2 cards came out and 2 songs came out, I hesitate to say this, but maybe for some of you, there's like multiple people that you're wondering about, like 2 people who are linked to each other and to you in some way, and so that could be for some of you, but for others, that's not necessarily the case. I will say that with Ace of Swords, we have air energy, but then also in this deck in particular, the Ace of Swords is related to Scorpio in the booklet, which is interesting. So maybe Scorpio energy is important for you guys. And I do get the sense that whatever, I feel like for a lot of you, in some way or another, this person is no longer in your life, or at this time is possibly not in your life. And that's for a few reasons. One is I feel like with the St. Elmo's Fire card, that song is a lot about, it's about on one level growing up and taking accountability for yourself and becoming your own person. And on another, like, it's a very independent, spirited energy, like someone who's on their own adventure. They're working on themselves and they're really standing in their own power and they're learning how to do that. And then Wonderful Life, it can be about, I think the song itself is about the idea of losing someone that you love, but appreciating all the wonderful things that they brought to you throughout your life. And for a lot of people in a very literal way, it can be about someone that you love passing away and you reminiscing on the wonderful things that they brought to your life while they were in it. I do feel that maybe for some of you, this is someone who has passed away, but a stronger thing that I'm getting, especially with this other information here, is that it's possibly someone who was in your past who left your life, who is still alive, but just is no longer in your life. And they're coming through for you at this time. And I do feel that for some of you, it could have been some kind of like breakup or friendship that drifted apart, or someone that left you in some way. With the moon here, that can be fear. So perhaps there was someone who ran away from a situation here. It can also be confusion or just darkness or just like not seeing everything. So maybe that's just speaking to the fact that maybe you don't know what this person's up to right now. They're not in your life. They might not know what you're up to. And so there's just some shadow there, some cloudiness. But I also feel like this could possibly be someone who is learning to break free right now in their own life, in their own way. And perhaps for some of you, this was a relationship that helped them do that and or helped you do that as well in some way. So maybe this was a significant relationship where you guys met each other and something about your meeting helped clarify things for each other and helped you guys take power into your own hands and move forward in your lives in a new direction. And maybe it took you in different directions, but this is an acknowledgement of the impact that you've had on each other's lives. And I think that whoever this is in some way or another, they're letting you know that they do really deeply love you and care about you and feel connected to you, even if they are very far away from you. As well with laughter, I feel that this might be someone that you have shared a lot of laughter with. Maybe you share a sense of humor. Maybe a big part of your relationship was, or is, if for some of you this person's still in your life, but I do feel for a lot of you, you're not. Maybe you guys joked around a lot and had a similar sense of humor. And something here that could be coming through as well is a suggestion to take yourself and even maybe this connection a little bit lighter, not in the sense that you diminish the significance of it, but in the sense that you find the lighter side of it and remember the good times and remember the laughter and the fun as well. And it's also saying that if that is the case for your relationship, this person remembers that. I do notice with the Ace of Swords here, this eagle looks a bit trapped and tied up, and I don't actually know if that's really what's happening in this card, but to me that it always looks like they're like tied up. And then the moon can be like confusion or fear. So maybe this is someone who has in the past been trapped by confusion or fear and is just now learning to break free and acknowledging your role in some way, even if you're not in each other's lives directly. Like maybe something that you've said or did helped them or set them free in some way, or encourage them to do that down the line. Because I feel like there's a hopeful energy here and a reminiscent energy of like, thank you for what you've done in my life, no matter how big or small. You had a big impact, right? So now I'm going to get some tarot cards to tell you how to strengthen this connection, because even if this person's not in your life, maybe there's someone that you want to reach out to again, or just a relationship that you need to revisit to have some closure or to have some clarity, or perhaps you guys will come back into each other's lives sometime soon. And this will help you discover how to feel closer to them in some way. So, and of course, if this is for anyone who, someone who has passed, if you are open to the idea that they are still around and in a different form, this can also be like how to get closer to them on a metaphysical level. So it's also possible for some of you, even if this person has not passed or something like that, maybe there's something significant around loss with them, like they've experienced a lot of that, or you have in your life. But let's see, let's get some information on how pile 3 can help strengthen this relationship. Okay. Interesting. And I'm gonna put that like this. Ooh. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I'll take this one. Oh, okay. I'm going to put this in the middle. Okay. So I'm getting a very specific, like, sort of story here almost, which is almost bringing me back to, like, what this relationship even is. But I'm sure we'll get into advice. But so the High Priestess and the Hermit are both, like, counterparts to each other, or at least I see them as such. Someone the other day said that the High Priestess and the Hierophant are counterparts, but because, like, I'll take it how I see it or how I've come to know it. I see, personally, even if it's not the case in the tarot, I see the High Priestess and the Hermit as sort of counterparts, feminine energy and a masculine energy. I see the High Priestess and the Hermit as two individuals who are very individual. The High Priestess, on one hand, they're both very spiritual, but one is, like, the High Priestess might be in more of a position of, like, expressing spirituality in a very particular sphere. The Hermit is more isolated and internal, I would say, and in a time of introspection. So for some of you, this could be some kind of spiritual counterpart you might feel. Like, I don't know too much about that, but, like, you'll know if that resonates for you. And with the Tower in the middle, it seems like maybe for both of you, this relationship was some kind of Tower moment. And maybe for both of you, you have experienced a big life change related to this person. And if there's any advice to be had around this, because it feels like this is almost expanding on your story, I feel like the advice is that, first of all, if we're just taking this holistically, it's about taking the impact of this relationship on you and using it to go deeply within yourself and explore yourself, which you may have already been doing, and to then, in turn, get deeply in touch with your intuition and express that outwardly in some way. Express your wisdom that you've learned and share that with people. If we're taking this as, like, one of these energies is you and one is them, I feel like it's like you're very much mirroring each other and you're both kind of on your own journeys thanks to each other to explore yourselves more deeply and get more deeply in touch with yourselves in your own ways. And that's exactly what you're meant to be doing. So it's kind of like saying, continue to do that. and perhaps going back to this laughter card here, it's like, yeah, get in touch with the light side of this, whatever happened here, because if this was a big, like, what you would say, tower moment for both of you, it could feel pretty heavy at times. But I think that for both of you, it's important is that you've got your eyes on the new horizon and that you also look back fondly or with love or with appreciation for what the other person brought you, if in your case that is something that you are ready to do, depending on what all happened with this person, because the different scenarios for different people, you know, if this was a relationship where, say, you were romantically involved and it ended in a difficult fashion, of course, there's going to be potentially a lot of grief or pain, or in your own way, maybe you've experienced a lot of that over this relationship, and bringing lightness back to it when you're ready. When you're ready, maybe even re-examining this relationship. So, like, say you've had a lot of time and distance, and perhaps something that was a difficult ending at the beginning has now become a bit easier to accept, then maybe revisiting the positive aspects of this relationship from a more distant lens and being able to see it more clearly, maybe see it for what it was and appreciate it more deeply, and in a way that's a little bit more detached and maybe not as painful, unless there is pain that still needs to be processed here, in which case it's saying it's, you know, safe to do that you can process that. But, like, I do think, like, looking fondly back can be helpful. And I do feel like maybe with both of you, there has been fear and confusion and maybe even some guilt or sadness over parting, you know, or not seeing each other anymore. Maybe there has been one of you, if, like, we take the moon and the Ace of Swords to be different people, like, the moon has this vulture figure, I don't know if you could see that, like, looking towards the eagle, and the eagle is looking down and away. And so it's like maybe one of you experienced shame over the way that they behaved or something like that, and the other one, you know, was looking at them, but they were only focused on their own shame and like weren't able to connect. But I think this is saying, like, in order to connect more, like, you are connected already. It's kind of like you'll always be connected in a sense. And it's kind of just like trusting that, tapping into that connection, like intuitively and deeply. And it's like just knowing that that exists. And if this applies to you, you'll probably know it already, because this feels very specific. Like, I think this could apply to a lot of people in a lot of different situations, but it's a very specific energy and a very specific connection. It's really, really interesting. And yeah, maybe the circumstances around your meeting and like the way that you left each other's lives is sort of unique and not necessarily a traditional way that, like, it's not like an easily defined relationship, like, by traditional terms. I do feel like both of you are deeply individual and even maybe isolationist energies at times. But there was some connection here, or something that, like, about you guys that was supposed to maybe activate each other in some way. Which I don't know where any of this is coming from, because I wasn't expecting something like this. It's like, I mean, look at that. High Priestess, Tower, and the Hermit. Like, this is crazy. So we're going to get some messages from this person now and see if that brings anything else to light. And sorry if the lighting is changing here. It's getting a bit darker out. All right. Let's see. Woo. Okay. Whoa. That's a lot. All right. Okay. Got some on the floor. All right. That's not bad. So I've got this little sprout here. Let's see if we can fit this all. We have a book. We have a person. And yeah, I hope you don't mind, I'm covering things up. Yeah, I'm definitely like in a bit of a silly, goofy mood. So something about this might have brought out some goofiness in both of you. So for our first message from them, we have this little sprout, and it says, "You still have a lot of time to make yourself be what you want. There's still lots of good in the world." And this is S.E. from The Outsiders by S.E. Hinton. We have this sort of crisscrossy pattern, and it says, "You can't know joy unless you've known sorrow. Those who can soar to the highest heights can also plunge to the deepest depths." From Anne with an E. Miss Stacy is the one who said that. Then we have, "I was looking for a miracle, but I got a story instead, and sometimes those are the same thing." From All the Crooked Saints by Maggie Stiefvater. And we have, "He thinks about how whatever being alive is, with all its past and present and futures, it is most itself in the moment when you surface from a depth, in the moments when you surface from a depth of numbness or forgetfulness that you didn't even know you were at and break the surface." Whew. You guys are like deeply philosophical, aren't you? I feel like you're both deeply deep people, and maybe that's something you brought out in each other, whether like through direct conversation or sort of separately. This was inspired in you by each other. I don't know. And this last card we have, "The more love you give, the more you are capable of giving. It's only when you shut off the source that it dries up." Wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So I get the sense that you're a deep thinker, that this person is a deep thinker, that perhaps they have, because of you, maybe also opened up to their depth a bit more. So some of the messages here, you still have a lot of time to make yourself be what you want. There's still lots of good in the world. I feel like this is one of the things that maybe they learned from you, and maybe you also learned from them. I think there is an energy of like having mutually learned from each other similar lessons. And this is saying like, keep going on your path. Like you still have plenty of time to make your life what you want. And perhaps for you, something about this connection is about your life's purpose and about what you're really meant to do. And it's saying, they're saying, keep going, you're on the right path, and you have plenty of time. There's no rush. This reassurance that you don't have to push anything, that you're not running late, that you're still growing up and you still can continue on that path. You can't know joy unless you've known sorrow. For some of you, maybe this was a difficult ending. Maybe this was something that made you feel deeply. Maybe this person knows that experience as well. And it's that feeling of acknowledging the significance of having those contrasting experiences of deep sorrow versus the most joyful joys, right? Like maybe you both brought feeling back into each other. I do feel like there's a sense of like unconditional love, or like accessing the love that you have, opening yourself up again to that, maybe through this relationship. Like they're saying like the more love you give, the more you're capable of giving. It's only when you shut off the source that it dries up. So it's like, don't shut off the source of your love. Like, and maybe this is something that both of you opened up to your emotions more deeply through this relationship. That's like one of the things it did to you. And it could have been really painful, but also really necessary. I was looking for a miracle, but I got a story instead. Sometimes those are the same thing. Like whatever this was, I feel like there was some kind of miracle in it for both of you. Whether it was really difficult miracle at the time or whatever, you know, and I feel like maybe something in the story of your relationship or the stories that you've told each other were really significant. But regardless, I do feel like with the tower too, there's something miraculous about this relationship, even if it was like a really difficult parting or something like that. And then, yeah, like whatever being alive is with all its past and presents and futures, it is most itself in the moment. So like in the moment, I feel like that's where you connect with each other. If you're not physically in each other's lives, like you connect with each other intuitively, like in the moment, like you're both on this journey of becoming more alive. Like, you definitely listen to Wonderful Life and also St. Elmo's Fire if you want, like, to some more messages will come through in that. But like in St. Elmo's Fire, it's like there's a line about coming alive, right? So I think maybe both of you helped each other come alive in some way. So like you helped each other surface from a depth of numbness or forgetfulness that you didn't even know you were at, and that is something that you're deeply grateful for each other. Also, the Queen of Wands is over here on the bottom of the deck. So maybe for some of you, this is like you, and it's like saying embrace your charisma, your innate charm, and your outgoing personality, and also like you're very attractive. Also, maybe this person is too. Fire energy as well. And then I also was drawn to the fact that death is on the top of that deck, and it's also like in pink and like with smiley faces, and the quote on the back says, "Death is the unknown in which all of us lived before birth." Yeah, so I mean, maybe for some of you, again, maybe there was a passing, and maybe that was and has been very difficult. I do feel like for some of you, a lot of you though, this was a really metaphorical death, like a transformation, and both of you have gone through it. And maybe again, maybe some of you are still physically together in this like lifetime, and you went through this transformation together. But maybe for some of you, I think for a lot of you, you're not, but you both went through a significant transformation related to this relationship and this person, and you were meant to do that. And you're both kind of different people, or turning into different people now, depending on where this person's at and where you're at. And it was very necessary and very important for you. And yeah, it's very powerful. I guess that's why you needed 2 cards each, because there's a lot here. It feels very powerful. And I can't, I mean, I'm just going to move these for a second, just because like the High Priestess, the Tower, and the Hermit, like really, like this is you, I think, pushing each other to your fullest potential. I will say, like, if these are, I mean, this could be like you also bringing yourself into balance, having counterpart energies in you come into balance. If one of these energies is you and one is them, like this High Priestess energy is someone who like might be a little further along, or like more expressive or more out in the public eye about their journey, and this person might be still in their more isolationist phase, and or this is how you express yourselves differently. Yeah. All right. Well, very fascinating. I will definitely be doing more like relationship focused readings in the future because I'm nosy and it's fun. So I kind of hope to revisit this energy because I feel like there's a lot of interest. This is an interesting relationship here. I don't know if there's much more to say though, so I feel like I'll let that be it. And I hope this was helpful for you. Yeah, I hope this was helpful for you. I just know that like whoever this person is, they're definitely part of you still. Like if you're down with the idea that someone doesn't have to be physically with you to be always present with you, and you can get yourself very in the moment and you're very intuitively tapped in and you continue along that path, you will definitely feel more connected with this person in a way that's probably less tumultuous than whatever you experienced in the past. If what you experienced in the past was more difficult, I feel like both of you have really moved past that or moved beyond that or are very close to that. And I do feel like whoever you are, you're very tapped in. So fascinating. But yeah, thank you. And I hope this was helpful. And that's all I've got for you. So if you would like, feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. And you can, if you're interested, check out sunflowerphilosophy.com where we have tarot readings, tarot guidance sessions, hypnosis sessions, and my mom does human design readings. So if you're interested in any of that, the link will be in the description. And aside from all of that, I hope that you have a wonderful day, life, whatever. And I will see you again in another reading soon. Bye. Hi Pile 4, welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. My name is Juliana, and today's reading is all about a significant relationship in your life. So this could be any kind of relationship. It'll be up to you to determine who you believe this person is, or which relationship you believe this is about. And to start off, first of all, if you chose Middle Cyclone by Neko, this is the correct reading. And I'm going to start off by looking at this song and surprise, the second song that you also got, because the later piles in this reading all decided that they want multiple songs. So sorry, earlier piles, they overruled me. I don't know. So you got two songs here. We'll also take a look at this tarot card and this angel guidance card. And these cards are intended to give you an idea of which relationship this is. And the cards, sometimes they have been representing like the person. Sometimes they represent the vibe of the relationship. Sometimes it's like a mix of both. So we'll just go with it. But first things first, we have Middle Cyclone. And the lyrics on the back say, "Can't give up acting tough, it's all that I'm made of. Can't scrape together quite enough to ride the bus to the outskirts of the fact that I need love." And we'll put that here. And then the second song we have is Safe and Sound by Taylor Swift from the Hunger Games soundtrack, featuring the Civil Wars originally, I think. And the lyrics are, "Just close your eyes, the sun is going down. You'll be all right, no one can hurt me now." Or hurt you now. Actually, I'm not sure why I wrote me, but maybe that's significant. "Come morning light, you and I'll be safe and sound." So, okay. Yeah, that's good. And our tarot card is the Knight of Cups. Yeah, the Knight of Cups, quite an intense image here. And your angel guidance card says gratitude. Your guidance is to count your blessings. When you say thank you to the universe for its gifts, it responds generously to you. Angel wisdom reminds you to say thank you for all that you have, the intangible as well as the tangible. Whenever you say thank you from your heart, more is bestowed on you, for gratitude is a key to opening doors to universal abundance. Cultivate an attitude of gratitude and open yourself to receive love and plenty into your life. Your angels will smile on you. And the affirmation is, I am grateful for everything in my life. So this is meant to signify something about this person and or relationship, but also you can take that as guidance for you as well if it speaks to you. So I'm sorry to cover up some of your lyrics here, but it's a bit of a cozy setup, you know? Okay, so getting into it, first of all, I want to say that when I was like first sort of tapping into this pile, I feel like it's very emotional. I think all of them are and can be deeply emotional, but I mean, I feel like there's a deep sense of gratitude here, and for some people, in some cases, maybe heartbreak. I was getting that for some of you, this could be, first of all, it doesn't have to be romantic for any of these piles, but I feel like I'm definitely, especially with like the Knight of Cups and these lyrics here, I'm getting like a sense that there could be, for some of you, a very romantic relationship here. And there's so many different scenarios that are coming to mind. For some of you, this could be a past relationship. This could be someone who has feelings for you that are unexpressed. This could be that you also have feelings for someone that are unexpressed. But there's a sense of like deep love and gratitude, but also pain, if that makes sense. And it could be pain, like I said, of heartbreak of some kind, but it could also be pain in the sense of like opening up to love in a way that you haven't before and feeling deeply vulnerable and having it feel overwhelming and almost painful to an extent. I mean, this Knight of Cups like has like, it looks like blood pouring from like the center of their chest, and there's a flower growing out of it. It's like very dramatic, but yeah, it's like almost like, oh, I don't even like this song just because it was overplayed when I was like younger. So if you like it, then you know, don't. I'm not judging you. But the song like Bleeding Love is it by Leona Lewis? I don't even listen to this song, but it's like bringing to mind that song. So yeah. Yeah. But I mean, there's like deep love and compassion here. And I don't know if it's mutual. I don't know if it's like the nature of the relationship, or if it's like coming from this person or coming from you or what have you. But I mean, I feel like it's at the very least coming from this person, if not both of you. But I do feel that there's something here like this Neko case song. Well, there's a lyric also in the song that goes, how does it go? Something about what I wouldn't give to be a spiderweb trapped in your lashes. For that, I would give you my empire for ashes, but I choke it back. How much I need love. So there is something about holding love back here. And it could be like someone holding back their feelings. It could be like unexpressed emotions. And that could be what's partially so painful about them, is that like holding that back can be painful. But it also could be like someone who hasn't opened up to love in a way that they have now done, either like through a relationship with you or like through meeting you or something like that, that is like painful for them, but there's also a lot of gratitude for it. And then there's also definitely a protectiveness and like a nurturing and compassionate feeling with Safe and Sound. Definitely listen to these songs if you feel called to. Especially if you're not familiar with them, they might have like some messages that you aren't aware of. So yeah, but there's like a lot of love here, and like I said, like it's almost painful, but like I do think it's a good thing. Because whether there was like an ending here, or whether it's just like a current relationship or something that like a current relationship or something that ended, or like a friendship or whatever it is, like it's deep and it's significant for at least this person. I think it opened someone here up to levels of emotion not previously felt. So let's get some information from the tarot on how you can strengthen this connection if you are aware of which one it is and you know that you would like to strengthen it. Let's see what comes through. I'm going to use the tarot for that, and then I'm also going to get some quote cards later on that will just be messages from this person. And like I said, I'm definitely getting an outwardly romantic vibe from this from the get-go, but I don't think it has to be necessarily. So I presume that you will know if that's for you. Okay, so let's see. For pile 4, oh, okay. Advice for pile 4 on getting closer. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And one more card for pile 4. Okay. Ooh. Yeah, so for a lot of you, this could definitely be a romantic relationship. And, like, again, it really doesn't have to be... it could be... and it could, like I said, it could be a past relationship, could be something that ended. I don't know. But there's a lot of love here, and there's a lot of compassion here, and... yeah, okay, so... and I'm presuming that if you're still here, you do, on some level, want to strengthen this connection in some way, so let's talk about that. So we have the 8 of Swords, which popped out first, and I feel like the 8 of Swords, well, it's 8 of Swords in reverse. The 8 of Swords is all about self-imposed limitations, like limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs that are in your mind. And I feel like in reverse, this is like breaking free from that, breaking free from limitations around your thinking. And with the 3 of Wands, it's like looking out on the horizon, like seeing a bigger picture, and also like watching your ships come in, right? Like watching things that you've waited for a long time come to you, and waiting for that and allowing that. It's like after you have put in the work, like, okay, like I'm thinking of the original 3 of Swords in the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot, where it's like a person watching out there. Maybe they're sending their ships out, or they're waiting for them to come back in. I'm not sure actually like which one it is, but the idea I'm getting in my mind right now is like of say like a craftsman, of like someone who's put some time and effort into creating something and then sends it off into the horizon to go make them some money. Like the merchants are going to sell it overseas and then bring them back the reward for that. Or someone who's like sent out some kind of communication and then is waiting for that ship to come in and bring back a reply, or bring back a person that they've been waiting for a long time. So there's a sense that like undoing these self-limiting beliefs will unlock like there's some kind of, I think in reverse, sometimes it feels to me like something like reversed is deeply rooted and difficult to, and might be like something that you're unaware of. So for some of you, you could be unaware that some of the limiting beliefs you have are actually false. So you might need to bring to light or allow false self-limiting beliefs to come to consciousness before you can remove them and see them for what they truly are, which is fictional, just like not true, no longer part of your reality. For some of you, you may have just started the process of removing these beliefs, or like you already are aware of them, and you are just, this is just confirmation basically that like, yes, you are correct, these are no longer serving you, you can continue your journey of moving past them, replacing them with more loving and more hopeful beliefs. Because this too is like a belief in like, and for some of you, like this could be about this relationship, like strengthening this relationship if this is one that you want to call in. It could even be a relationship that you haven't had yet, but like because you've opened up to a new level of love and gratitude for the world, like this is bringing this in for you with someone, and it could be someone from the past for some of you, but it could be someone new. For others of you, perhaps if this is like someone, a relationship is coming through that like is a past relationship where maybe both of you had this painful experience, or like one person, like it opened you up to like love on another level, like even if it's not necessarily between the two of you. This is, it's taught you, or it's helped you learn to break through those old beliefs and welcome in a higher level of love and or self-love as well. But there's a lot here like about overcoming self-limiting beliefs about love and looking out into the horizon with hope and looking towards the future, but like not in a way where you're like projecting yourself into the future and getting anxious about it or trying to control it, but rather trusting that the future is bringing you beautiful things and you see them on the horizon, right? So maybe for some of you too, like maybe this could be like someone that you've met recently or that you've recently had a new beginning with, and you have broken free from past beliefs, that and this is confirmation for you that like if you continue on this journey and this path, it will be a brighter future for you. And that is contingent on, of course, you maintaining your more positive outlook, and gratitude can definitely be a really important practice for this as well. So like, yeah. And if you have a specific person, if this is your specific person, and if this is about romance in general, but also if it's about, I guess, any other kind of relationship, but like focusing on the things about this person and about your relationship that you are grateful for, and or focusing on relationships around you that you are deeply grateful for. Focusing on the aspects of those relationships and people that you are greatly grateful for, will also help heal anything that has been painful here. Because I feel like for a lot of you, this has been a painful journey, whether it was with someone in the past or like in a current relationship now, or like opening yourself up to love in a new way has been really painful. So I feel like gratitude can help ease the process a little bit. With the 10 of Swords reversed, I also wanted to mention on the bottom of the deck, this does feel like for some of you, this is a past relationship or one that has gone through some difficulties. And it also could indicate that you've had a lot of maybe internal, like with this 8 of Swords reverse, like mental strife that you've been through. Maybe, for some of you, you've had some mental health struggles and things like that have affected your relationships in some way, and you're coming out of a time of that, and you're finding a new outlook, and maybe you found ways to deal with that have helped improve your outlook on life. Regardless, I do feel like, regardless of whether you feel like your outlook on life has already improved or not, like there is an encouragement here to take steps to improve that outlook, to feel like you have better things in your future than were in your past, and you have better things possible and on the horizon for you than you used to limit yourself by thinking that you couldn't possibly have that. It's like, I feel like you already have or are opening up to better. And if you're in a relationship with this person, and this is a specific person or a specific person that you're looking to be in a relationship with, what have you, it's like believing that you both can have that together. So I'm going to get some messages from them now with these quote cards. Yeah, I feel like for a lot of you, either you or this person or both of you have had a lot of trouble opening up to love at all in the past. And you've both come through some difficulties or are coming through some difficulties and finding a way to feel safe in an intimate relationship. And it's partially about believing that you can. Okay. All right, let's see. So we have these cards. Okay. Can you see them? All right. interesting. So we don't have any like pictures that have any definitive shapes or anything on them, but a lot of purple and yellow and blue. And yeah, a lot of purple, and then we have this black and white here. Interesting. Okay. So first we have, okay. This is messages from this person or your person or a person who's coming in for you, whatever. And it says, had she really thought the world didn't change, she was a fool. The world was made of miracles. Ooh. And this is from Crooked Kingdom by Lee Bardugo. So yeah, this is really about like that like beautiful horizon, right? That like miracles are possible for you. And perhaps this person feels like you have been a miracle in their life. I mean, the gratitude here and just like the deep love and like the, like I want to cry. And like, it's not my emotion. It's like yours or theirs. I don't know. And we have this quote. It's actually 2 in 1 because when I was writing these down, I was like pulling these quotes out of like a bucket, and these two came up one after the other, and I had to put them on the same card. So it says, perspective is a goddamn son of a bitch, from The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue by Mackenzie Lee. And then we have perspective is wonderful, from Anne with an E. And yeah, it's like a perfect demonstration of exactly what these quotes mean. Like perspective is like, you could think, oh my god, it's like, I love this so much. It's like perspective is a goddamn son of a bitch, but perspective is also wonderful, right? And it's just a matter of how you choose to look at it. And so yeah, for some of you, it's like the message of how you choose to look at something is your choice. Like releasing yourself from those self-limiting beliefs. It's like turning your perspective on its head, looking at the same exact thing and seeing it from completely new eyes. And so for some of you, this person has experienced that by meeting you or through a relationship with you, and maybe you have as well. For some of you, if this is a past relationship, it's like asking you to flip your perspective on what happened, or even like in your current relationship, like asking you to flip your perspective on certain things and look at things from an opposite perspective in some cases, and just test that out, see how that feels, and see if you can find an opposite perspective or a more positive perspective that actually feels authentic to you. And gratitude, again, like coming back to that, like, ooh, yeah. But I do feel like because these are messages from this person, for a lot of you, this is a person who has had their perspective shifted by you. And perhaps that perspective involves the truth of what love really can mean for them, right, in their life. And that's it's quite wonderful. And then we have, there's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so, from Hamlet by Shakespeare. And yeah, okay, again, like this is just repeating like the miracles, the perspective, like whether you think it's wonderful or awful, and thinking there's nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. Like, yeah, like, and maybe for some of you, like this is a relationship that was difficult or ended in a difficult way. And maybe it took some time to get a different perspective on it. And maybe this person has gained new perspective through it and is super grateful for it, even though it was a painful lesson at the time. And maybe for you, that's the case as well. And for some of you, you're just like, you're learning, it's teaching you to flip, and maybe it's teaching this person to flip their old preconceptions on their head and to really look at the world in a new, more positive way. And then we have, something difficult for you isn't less difficult because other people have different problems. Yeah, which also, it's just, this is a lot about just perspective, right? It's about like, yeah. Okay, so since I was getting actually a lot of like compassion and also like emotional, like it's deeply emotional here, that leads me to think about sensitivity and how we can have a negative perspective on sensitivity, and we can think, why has it taken me so long to get over this thing? So like maybe there's past heartbreak that it's taken someone here a long time to get over, and it might be tempting to beat yourself up about it and feel like, why am I not over this yet? Like, why can't I just like turn this off? Like, why do I have to feel things so deeply? And the other and you can look at other people and say, oh, well, that person just like got over their relationship so quickly. Why can't I do that? But this is reminding you that you're on a different path than someone else. Comparing yourself to someone else is just a perspective, but it's not the truth. You can impose limiting beliefs on yourself based on comparisons all day long. You can impose the belief that there's something fundamentally wrong with you by looking at someone else doing something differently or experiencing something differently and put pressure on yourself to change. Or you can embrace where you're at and acknowledge that different experiences are simply a part of life, and anyone else can judge you as much as they want, but that doesn't mean that you have to judge yourself. And so that might be important for someone here. And maybe for this person, whoever they are, they want you to know that and internalize that for yourself. And maybe for them, they've also learned this from you. So, it could go either way. But that's really lovely. And I also wanted to just take a look at this card as well. You are led through your lifetime by the inner learning creature, the playful spiritual being that is your real self. So, yeah, I think for a lot of you, regardless of who this person is, what the relationship situation is, and whether or not you're both currently involved, I feel like this is encouraging you or has gotten this person closer to your real self or their real self, has cleared out some of the maybe emotional blockages that they've had, because like having energetic or emotional blockages can really prevent you from feeling your intuition and also feeling who you truly are and accepting yourself for who you really are. And I feel like there's a lot here about compassion, about and for a lot of you, maybe like if this is a relationship that's either future or present that is deeply loving, it's like finally feeling safe to open up, finally feeling safe to embrace your true self, finally feeling connected to yourself with this other person, and in this relationship. Yeah. And for some of you, it's just believing that that's possible and believing that every step of the way has been leading you towards that. If that's something that you want, a relationship that will help you feel safe to express your emotions, to be who you are, to embrace your difficulties or things that might be difficult for you or things that you would have judged yourself for, and to see them in a new light. Just see the whole world in a different way, in a very compassionate, a very loving, a very emotionally connected way. Yeah. And for some of you, Knight of Cups, this could be someone who's coming towards you to bring you an offer of love of some kind, or has wanted to do that for some time now. So take that as it resonates. But regardless, I feel like you have been and should continue to release yourself from any thought patterns that you just know are getting in the way of you feeling your feelings and your love. Flip your perspective. See the bright future on the horizon and believe that, and believe in like the fact that like your ability to love and experience feeling deeply is something that is valuable, and something that for some of you, if you've helped another person uncover that in themselves, they want you to know that, and also know that that part of you is deeply valuable. So that is just about all I have for you guys. But really beautiful energy here, and I think no matter what your situation is, there's a lot of great love here for you to access in the current moment of your life, but also in the future. So definitely open up to that and keep feeling that gratitude and feel your feelings. So hopefully that was helpful for you. And if you would like to, feel free to like, comment, or subscribe. And if you want to check out sunflowerphilosophy.com, my mom and I offer tarot recordings, tarot guidance sessions, which are one-on-one sessions with us, hypnosis, and also my mom does human design. So if any of that interests you, feel free to check it out. Regardless, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in another reading sometime soon. Bye. Hi Pile 5, welcome to Sunflower Philosophy Tarot. My name is Juliana, and today's reading is all about a significant relationship in your life, which can be any kind of relationship. It'll be up to you to discern which one you feel that it is, and perhaps if you came in with one on your mind, it could be that one. So keep your mind open and we'll see what comes through. So to start off, if you chose Extraordinary Machine by Fiona Apple, then you are in the right place. And you actually got 2 song cards. So I will make sure I read those both. The first cards, the song cards, the tarot card, and the angel guidance card will serve to give us an idea of who this person is and or the vibe of this relationship. So we'll take that as it comes up. But to begin, we have Extraordinary Machine, and the lyrics we have are, "Be kind to me or treat me mean. I'll make the most of it. I'm an extraordinary machine." And then we also have the song Some of Our Parts by Mary Lambert. Yeah, Mary Lambert. And the lyrics we have are, "I want to know whoever broke you. I want to know how you can grow bigger. Don't go looking for some kind of rescue. You are the only one who can save you. We are more than our scars. We are more than the sum of our parts." And additionally, we have the Fool for our tarot card. And just in case, I will put a little rock over that card, because this Fool is indeed showing some of their parts. Sorry. Anyway, and for the angel card, we have Acknowledgement. And I'll read this as well. It says, "Look after yourself by acknowledging your desires and needs and taking steps to meet them. Examine and note your gifts and talents and achievements. When you accept all aspects of yourself, you feel centered and confident. Then you can genuinely acknowledge others. Become aware of and nurture the good qualities of people in your life so that they can feel relaxed and happy in your presence. Angel wisdom reminds you to recognize who you truly are and an evolved spirit in a human body. When you acknowledge your spiritual dimensions, you will align with your true self and your spirit will soar." And the affirmation is, "I acknowledge who I truly am." And so this card can be related to like who this person is or what this relationship is, but if you feel that that advice resonates with you, definitely take that. Okay, so for this pile, I hope I said pile 5, right? Yeah. I wasn't originally actually going to do a pile 5, but then as I went on with the other readings, I got inspired to add another one on here. And I was really interested when the Fool jumped out, because I feel like this pile, more than even some of the other ones, feels like it's about, like this card is about a specific person and their personality. Not necessarily their personality in relation to you, but like as an individual. But some of the things that I describe about their personality, if it sounds like you or it sounds like it's related to your experience of this relationship, you can take that as well. But the Fool, first of all, I feel like Aries and Aquarius energy is something I associate with the Fool. But also butterflies could be a really significant symbol for you. Other than that, though, I get a very like free-spirited, maybe a little bit silly, maybe a little bit like a funny, free-spirited, definitely someone going their own way, doing their own thing. Could be a bit of an oddball personality in a sense, but someone who could be perceived as perhaps a bit naive, or just perceived in a way that is a bit unserious. And yet I think behind that they have they're very intelligent and perhaps more, not necessarily calculated, but smarter than you might think upon first interacting with them. Not that they come across as unintelligent, but it's hard to explain. But like with the Fool, you can get like a bit of a naive energy, and sometimes people can come across like other people might think, for example, that this person is naive or very young, but they actually are maybe older than they look, or they are very wise, but they just don't necessarily bring it up in every conversation or like show it in their demeanor. Maybe they just have kind of a goofy personality or something like that, or they could be very playful. But I do feel like especially with the Fiona Apple song, there's a strong emphasis on someone who's just like going their own way, doing their own thing, and maybe doing things in a way that other people don't necessarily understand or doesn't seem linear or make sense, but they're just kind of doing their thing. And there is something also with this person where perhaps they feel like they want to get to know you better, or in this relationship you've both reached a point where you want to get to know each other better. Again, this could be any kind of relationship at all, and I wouldn't say I'm getting like a specific one for you, so really rely on your own intuition for that. But like there's something here about perhaps being deeply empathetic and maybe being someone who reaches out or likes to reach out to help people, maybe does something in their work that's about helping people emotionally or something like that, or is just a very caring person in some way. And perhaps also in relation to you specifically in this relationship, there is a sense of like wanting to know more about you, wanting to reach out to you in a caring way. And then this acknowledgement card, I acknowledge who I truly am. I do feel like this is a person, and with the butterflies too, like maybe, so the Fool can be at the beginning of a journey, but perhaps with the butterflies here, they are someone who is at the beginning of a new journey in life, but they've closed out an old cycle, right? And they've maybe transformed into a new version of themselves that is more truly themselves, and they have begun to acknowledge who they truly are in their life. And perhaps that's part of their purpose right now, or part of their journey is helping other people do the same. So that could be something. And perhaps they've played a role in helping you do that in your life as well. But yeah, I get a very independent and possibly, for some of you, like a bit of a loner personality, or someone who kind of just does their own thing. That just keeps coming up. And I also was getting like sort of like a trickster vibe, but not necessarily in like a malicious way or anything. Just like a little tricky, like a little kind of like a fox energy or something like that. But now what we're gonna do is take some tarot and get into. Actually, I didn't say this at the beginning, but I meant to say that we're going to use the tarot to see how you can strengthen this relationship if this is something that you want to do. And just get more information overall. And then we'll use the quote cards over here to get messages from this person to you. So let's see what comes up for you. So how can pile 5 get closer or strengthen this relationship with this person? How can pile 5 strengthen this relationship? Okay. Pile 5, strengthen this relationship. Wow, okay. How can pile 5 strengthen this relationship? Alright. I don't know what that sound was, but I'm just like surprised by what's coming out. Okay, so I don't know if the bottom of the deck is important here, but we have the 6 of Wands in reverse, the 2 of Cups, and the Star. So first of all, Aquarius energy big here. And that's like, that's the sort of like that really does go with the someone going their own way, doing their own thing, like maybe being a little bit out there, a little bit different than everyone else kind of thing. It's interesting, the 2 of Cups here, like maybe for some of you pile 1 is also significant because this came out in like the same exact position there. So for some of you, if you want to check that out, you could also check that one out. It would be really cool if you picked that first and then you ended up here as well. But yeah, so interesting. So, okay, so to strengthen this relationship, well, I'm feeling like, starting with the 6 of Wands over here, for some of you, perhaps taking this person off of some kind of pedestal, if you've placed them on a pedestal in your mind, That could be part of this. So like I said, this person does seem like a very self-possessed person. Maybe comes across as someone who is just fully themselves, and there can be a sense that maybe they don't need anyone else in their life, or they don't want anyone else in their life. No matter if this is like a friendship or a romantic relationship or whatever, if you're wanting to get closer to someone, but you're not sure if, they seem like they are so cool with themselves, maybe they don't want anyone else around, or they don't need anyone else around. But it's like, or that they just know what they're doing, and maybe for you there's something about wanting to be able to fulfill some kind of role for someone or provide for someone in a way, and you don't feel like this person needs anything from you. You feel like maybe they are not better than you. I mean, if you do feel that way, I want you to know that that's just a mindset shift that needs to take place, right? Because no one's better than anyone. We're all just different. And I think this person would probably be the first person to tell you that. So there could be something here about, putting this person up on a pedestal. Perhaps for both of you that has been a thing. Like, you might not even realize. And I feel like this fool has a mask over their face. So this could be someone who's hard to read at times. And you might not even know the ways in which they put you on a pedestal, or the ways that they have insecurities that you haven't seen. They might seem to make being different and expressing themselves and being who they truly are, they might make that look easy, but I would say that they're someone who's probably gone through a cycle of difficulties with that, and it's taken a lot to get to this place, for some of you. And so, there's something here about truly seeing each other as equals, right? Seeing this other person as your equal. With this Two of Cups here, this is a mutual equal bond. Yeah. And then on the Star card, of course, there is definitely something here about like taking someone off the pedestal, but also acknowledging the ways in which you're both stars, right? You're both iconic. You're both really unique and fascinating and worthy individuals in your own right. And you might be different in some ways, but you might also be similar in other ways. But it will take taking each other off the pedestal. It will take looking at each other as humans and looking at yourself as like de-elevating them in your eyes and elevating yourself in your own eyes so that you're both on that level playing field. Because that's where you already are. It's just, if you have any insecurities around yourself, you might find it difficult to see yourself on the same playing field. But I would say that it's possible for the two of you, you both have these perceptions of each other that are similar, and you both just need to see each other as equals. And see each other, see yourself as the star, and see them as the star, and see that both of you are worthy of so much in life. There's not one of you that's worthier than the other, right? You might both be unique souls in your own way. And with the Ace of Pentacles over here on the bottom of the deck, it might be that this is either a new relationship or there's the start of a new beginning brewing in this relationship in some way. And this is saying like it's still a small seed here, but it has a lot of potential to grow. And you just need to foster it. And with the Empress right under that, it's like, this is the full potential, right? You start here, but this is like what it can grow into. The Empress being like the ultimate creative power, like, and maybe for some of you, this could be a creative partnership of some kind as well. Like maybe you want to start a project with someone or partner in business in some way. And that's where like, maybe both of you are actually really good at what you do, but you're each, or like one of you is putting the other one on a pedestal thinking that they're better at their job and you're not worthy to work with them, but you really want to collaborate. And this is saying like, no, you're both on the same level. You both can collaborate in whatever way you want to do. You've both got unique skills and you're both bringing equal amounts of work to the table. And so now I want to get some messages from them, which could give us some more information, but can also I just want to see what they want to say to you. So but definitely with this acknowledgement card, like there's something here about either this person needing acknowledgement from you or wanting acknowledgement from you, or you wanting acknowledgement from them, or just acknowledging yourself and maybe them acknowledging themselves as well as worthy. Yeah, as worthy of the ultimate wish fulfillment, which the star also is. So, all right. So what does this person have to say to pile 5? What would they like to say to... That's too much. They might have a lot to say to you. What do they want to say to pile 5? Let's see. I want to say... Oh, okay. Wow. All right. And these flipped over. So it's interesting because these flipped over on the side with the quotes facing up. Let's see if I get anything else. That's too much. Stop trying to sneak in a whole pile there. Come on. I do feel like there's something else they want to say, so I'm gonna keep going. Yeah. All right. You know what? This is a little more than I wanted to get, but we'll give it to them. We'll let them because they've been so insistent about it. This person might be very persistent in like what they do in life. They might be very like they'll go for it, and maybe they haven't always been that way, but maybe for some of you they have, or maybe you've only seen them in the energy of like where they'll just go for something, and that could be intimidating to you. Like I think there's an element of intimidation here, like both of you are a little bit intimidated by one another, but there's the potential to have such a deep and like fulfilling relationship or partnership in some way. So the first quote card we have, a message from them, says, "I don't think you have to be alone to be lonely." And it's from Fleabag, which is a TV show. So yeah, perhaps this person, because I was getting that loner vibe, perhaps this person is a bit lonely, or in the past has found, or maybe sees in your life this, or wants you to know in some way, shape, or form that it's possible to be lonely in a group of people. So maybe even if this person is someone who has like a lot of friends or seems like they're surrounded by people, they might still feel lonely within their friend group in some way, shape, or form. And perhaps this is coming out in communication to you because maybe you're someone that they feel like they really connect with, and you help them feel less lonely by having you in their life. For others of you, or on the same token, maybe you have this experience as well. Maybe you've discussed this before, or maybe they see in your life that maybe you feel lonely in the group of people that you're with. Maybe you are different than the people who are around you, and they see that in you, and they maybe they see themselves in you, and they want to communicate to you that sometimes if you hold yourself apart from people, or if you feel like you're different, it doesn't matter how many people you have in your life or who are around you, you still feel lonely. And finding other people who you connect with deeply, or connecting more deeply with the people who are already in your life, will help you feel closer. Well, yeah, closer to the people around you. But also there's something here about acknowledging, like, I acknowledge who I truly am. When you acknowledge your true self, when you're not only in an environment that allows you to be your true self and acknowledges your true self externally, but also when you acknowledge your true self internally, which is something I believe this person has definitely learned how to do, and possibly both of you as well, you feel more connected to yourself. And by virtue of like that connection to yourself, which is also connected to like the cosmos, like all that is, you feel more connected to everyone, and you feel less alone, even if you haven't necessarily made friends with everyone around you, or like have a deep connection with people. Like you feel that connection on a deeper level than just like surface level. Then we also have this card, which says hope on it. I feel like there is something hopeful about this relationship, especially with the Ace of Pentacles. There's some hope here for like a strong start or a new beginning in some way, whether you've known each other for a while or this is a newer connection. And this is also from Fleabag, so I don't know, some Fleabag fans in the house. And this says, when you find somebody that you love, it feels like hope. Yeah, so this definitely, either there's potential for a deeply loving relationship here, or that love has already blossomed or formed, or it's there under the surface. And this could be any kind of love, but perhaps for some of you it is a romantic situation as well. But regardless, there is a sense of hope here. Perhaps that you're both finding your own weirdness within, and you see it reflected in one another. Like I said, there's like a mutual... This is mutually beneficial, this relationship, and it can be maybe even more so once you learn to see yourselves as on the same playing field. Then we have this card, which says, don't turn away from possible futures before you're certain you don't have anything to learn from them, which is from Illusions by Richard Bach. Yeah, and so it's like, I kind of drew this as like the branching of timelines and stuff like that. So yeah, maybe there's like a possible future you see with this person in some way, shape, or form, and it's saying, hey, maybe you want to explore this, you know? Maybe there's part of you that wants to turn away from it because you don't think you're worthy of it. But this is saying that if you can move past that perception and when you take someone else off of a pedestal, what you're really doing instead of knocking them down is actually building yourself up and finding what you love in the other person, what you think is so awesome about the other person, seeing that in yourself, finding that in yourself, cultivating that in yourself, acknowledging that in yourself. And once you can do that, any defenses or anything that feels like is keeping you down or keeping you from connecting deeper just falls away. So this is saying, don't be so certain that you have nothing to learn here. Don't be so... Also, if you do feel like someone has more knowledge than you in some area, or you feel like you can learn something from them in some way, like having something to learn is an exciting adventure. It's not an indictment of the knowledge that you've gained thus far. And maybe you're both starting a new adventure in some way. Maybe this person is also inexperienced in some way and you can learn together. So it's like, don't shut that down. That's an opportunity for both of you, right? Like I said, level playing field here, whatever that means to you. And then we have this card, and it says, life's a game, but only some bother to play. Yeah, okay, so there's definitely some kind of opportunity here with this person that I think you both want, and you're just deciding whether or not to take it, whether or not to pursue this relationship, this partnership, this business thing, this creative endeavor, I don't know. But yeah, life's a game, but only some bother to play. Are you going to play the game or not? And I think like I said, maybe for some of you, this person has learned these things and is saying these things to you because they see themselves in you and they want you to come along with them. But like, I think for both of you, you're learning this now, and this is something that there's an opportunity here. This Ace of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, like the bottom of the deck didn't come through as strong for some of the other piles, so I don't take it for everything, but in this case, like, that Ace of Pentacles is coming in real strong. There's an opportunity here for sure. And then we have this card, and it says, but that's summer for you. Summer's like walking down a road just like this one, heading towards both light and dark, because summer isn't just a merry tale. Because there's no merry tale without darkness. So maybe for some of you, you're a bit afraid of pursuing this relationship because you're afraid of where it could go, and if things could end badly, or if there could be things that you don't see, the unknown. The darkness can just be the unknown. And this is saying, and like the Fool would going through that journey, it's like taking a leap of faith. It's like accepting the light and the dark of situations, accepting the light and dark within yourself, accepting the light and dark within other people, and accepting the possibility of the unknown, and accepting that goes hand in hand with what's beautiful and light, and that this is an adventure and a journey. So there's going to be hills and bumps and ups and downs, and you just kind of have to be down with that, you know? Yeah. And it can be very beautiful. It's not necessarily scary. Although, you know, it might feel scary, but I mean, like, it doesn't have to be, it can be exciting. I think the Fool is a very excited energy, right? And there's a sense that maybe for, you know, for some, there's the conception of being a fool. It's like, oh, you're not even thinking about the darkness. You don't even know yet, right? You don't even know. But like, you also don't know the joy or the light yet. You have to go through it in order to get that experience. But also there is sometimes there's wisdom in being the fool, in the sense that if you're not planning or trying to prevent all this darkness or all these potential pitfalls, you're in the moment, you're enjoying the experience, you're letting what happens happen without the preconceptions of like, oh no, this means that this is all going wrong. Instead, you just take what comes to you and you do what you will with it. And I feel like I can't think of a specific example, but there's definitely examples of stories I've heard of people who go into something without a lot of knowledge or preconceptions, and they end up doing better than people who might have planned out the whole thing ahead of time. But it's like in a creative endeavor, sometimes going into a creative endeavor without preconceived rules about how the creation of like a song, for example, works, means that you do things in a different way, or just the way that you figure out along the way, because no one told you not to. No one told you to do it differently. And sometimes you can have really amazing discoveries from that. And so it's like, don't knock the idea of being a beginner and in some kind of endeavor or opportunity or relationship, because you might discover a way that no one else does or no one else has tried or whatever, because you don't have the limitations that everyone else has learned to place on themselves. Yes. Okay. And then we have this card, which is it's very, this is a sweet one, and it's kind of long, so I was debating whether to read the whole thing, but I will. Deep in the meadow, hidden far away, a cloak of leaves, a moonbeam ray. Forget your woes and let your troubles lay, and when again it's morning, they'll wash away. Here it's safe, here it's warm. Here the daisies guard you from every harm. Here your dreams are sweet and tomorrow brings them true. Here is the place where I love you. So yeah, there's perhaps quite a bit of love here in some way, shape, or form. Again, any kind of relationship, any kind, for you. And this reassurance that you're safe, that you're loved, that you can let any of your defenses or your fears or anxieties fall, and also maybe open up and like express them to this person and be vulnerable and open yourself up to sometimes even just having a conversation, just acknowledging that the fear is there, or acknowledging that the anxieties are there, or that perspective is there, can lighten the load, and maybe this person can help you see in a new way, a new perspective, or share something with you that will be helpful. Yeah. Ooh. Okay. And last but not least, I keep looking over at this card over here, so I'm just gonna look at it as well. And it says, "I was having an emotion, and I hate that." And it's from Exit Strategy by Martha Wells. Which is from the Murderbot Diaries, which is fun. Perhaps this person has trouble expressing their emotions, or both of you do, and maybe you're both having emotions about the situation or about each other, and you're both like, oh god, I hate that. Because maybe neither of you are used to acknowledging your emotions, acknowledging that you have them, or expressing them to one another. And it's funny that came out after I read the most emotional one here, that Deep in the Meadow, which is, by the way, the song from The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. So something about this situation or about this person might make you emotional or make them emotional, and there's some discomfort there. But I get a very, like, it's still sweet. It's like, gosh darn it, I'm having an emotion. I hate that. But they really love it. But they also hate it, you know? And maybe there's some emotional growth within this endeavor for you guys. And that could be part of some of the hesitance that I'm sensing here. And it's also just maybe like just seeing each other as such great people and putting each other on such high pedestals makes you both emotional. Because for some of you, this could be someone who you've seen grow through a lot of things, and vice versa. So, yeah, you might just be very emotional over each other because you've watched a lot of their life, or they watched a lot of your life. So, Okay, yeah, I think that's it. So that is all I have for you today, Pile 5. Thank you for watching. And if you would like, please like, comment, or subscribe. And if you're interested, you can check out sunflowerphilosophy.com. I have the link in the description. My mom and I do tarot guidance sessions, recorded tarot readings, hypnosis, and my mom does human design readings. So if any of that interests you, you can hop on over to our website, and I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again in a reading very soon. Bye!